Hello gamers! Well, At Games is at it again. They did just recently here the Atari Flashback 4. This is the fourth model in the Atari Flashback series. The first one came out several years ago, kind of shaped like a mini Atari 7800. Came with about 30 games, and I have that one. It's actually sitting right here. I enjoy it very much. And kind of skipped over the second one. With the second one, they modeled it after the Atari 2600 and the joysticks for that. Never knew there was a third one, and found out about this fourth one here a few weeks ago, and decided to pick up the fourth Atari Flashback. Comes with 75 built-in games, and some two wireless controllers, also based on the Atari 2600 look. And let's face it, the big reason to get this, the Asteroids poster. Gotta have that. So next we'll be taking a look at some of the games that are on here and decide if it's worth picking up one of these Atari Flashback 4s. So stay tuned, we'll have a fun gaming session ahead of us right here on GameTime. Alright everybody, this is the Atari Flashback Model 4. Just came out, I would say 2012, I'm not exactly sure, early or late in the year. And just a quick side note, thank you to everybody. If you made it this far, you're alright with me in these cheesy amateur videos. But anyway, this is what everything comes with in the box, except for the Asteroids poster. Got that hanging on the wall already. It's pretty cool poster. I like it. Very vintage. Glad to have that on the wall of games. So as you can see, kind of very much shaped like the Atari 2600 model. So that's pretty cool. We have a couple of the buttons here. Our power button, our starts. You can start the game here. Left to right pretty much does the difficulties. On the original 2600 they had switches you could do. And this game kind of selects, not a game, but this button can select which game you want to choose from the main menu. And also, of course, just the power adapter and the audio-video cords right here. No stereo, but that's alright, these are old games, probably not a huge deal. Two controllers, as you can see, they are pretty much shaped just like the Atari 2600 original controllers. I really like the joystick, how it's not as rubbery as the original controllers. I'll show you that in just a second. The only difference is just the logo and the nice gold finish here. That's pretty neat. The main controller, though, this is an interesting feature. It does have the reset and start and select buttons on the actual controller itself, so you don't always have to get up and switch it on the console. You can just do it right here on the controller. As you can see, the little on-off switch there is currently on, but that's right. Takes two AAA batteries. Unfortunately, they are kind of wireless, so they are battery hogs. Or, as we seen in the console itself, also very light, very lightweight. Seems very hollow, almost very cheap, but it's a nice system. I mean, it definitely looks really, really nice. These switches right here, they can actually plug your original Atari 2600 joysticks in, which luckily I have. So you can also use these bad boys on the console itself. And you can take a look, just a very brief size comparison. As you can see, the wireless controller is probably just a little bit smaller, definitely just a touch lighter as well. And these are the rubbery things I was telling you about earlier. Kind of, you know, but these are a lot looser, I think, and a little bit easier to control. Some of the games on the 2600 do require the paddle controllers, which doesn't come with this particular model. There is a deluxe model, I guess, of the Atari Flashback 4, which actually does come with some paddle controllers, so that's pretty neat, as well as a few extra posters So if you get a chance to see that, maybe it's $10 or more or so, whatever, might be worth it. Unless you already have the paddle controllers, which I'm sure you can find online, or maybe at the local pawn shops, or maybe some parents out there still have the maybe some old Atari controllers. So they are easily findable, but this set does not come with any hit, so minor setback, but not a huge thing because I already have them. So let's take a look at the 75 built-in games. We'll at least see a couple in action, and yeah, let's do that right now. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's play some Atari Flashback 4. I'm using the wireless joystick here, and much like the Sega Genesis Model 4, you kind of have to be in close proximity to the console itself when you're using it and aim directly at the system. Otherwise, these kind of cheaper wireless controllers won't work very, very well. So let's turn the controller on, and we'll take a look at what games are included with the Atari Flashback 4. Right off the bat, as you can see, we have Adventure and Adventure 2. That is already well worth the price tag of this console itself. Aquaventure, I really like that. Sort of like an underwater, sort of side-scroller shooter. We'll put that one in here in just a moment. And you can see on the other side as well some Battlezone, that classic sort of first-person tank shooter. That's pretty fun. Very difficult. Classic Asteroids. Let's see, page 2, we have Bowling. Everyone loves Breakout. Centipede, there's a fan favorite of many. Circus Atari, I really love that game. We should play it, but I don't have the paddles, and that works better with paddles. Combat, probably among one of the first, the launch titles for the Atari 2600 was Combat, so I'm glad to see that one on there. Sort of like the tank shooter, if you ever played the Wii Play version of tank shooters, very similar to that. Combat 2, of course. Crystal Castle is pretty much like, I would say an arcade Pac-Man type game. You're pretty much a bear and you go and collect dots, so similar to a Pac-Man. Fire World and Earth World, some rare, I shouldn't say rare Atari games, but definitely more harder to find or more uncommon. So these are great additions on here. Dodge 'em, wow, that's might have to be the most addicting game, at least for myself. It's probably the most addicting game on here, Dodge 'em. Let's see, page 4 here. Just have Golf, Haunted House, really loves that. Who needs Resident Evil? You have Haunted House and I think 9 different games on that. Well, not 9 different games, but 9 different variations or levels, if you will. Haunted House 2. I never knew they did a second Haunted House before I got this. I'm very pleased to finally be able to play it. I have Haunted House, the cartridge itself for the 2600, so I'm very pleased to play the second one. Never had it before. Sort of plays very much like Adventure. In fact, it was a little bit of a letdown that it was so much like the game Adventure and less like the original Haunted House. Jungle Hunt, definitely a classic. I love playing that game, as well as Maze Craze. Would like another player to play alongside me, but it's just me, so not as fun. Let's see, page 5, and we got some real sports games. Real sports, baseball, basketball, soccer. I believe volleyball is on the other page. We'll get to it in just a second. Pong sports, 50 different Pong variations on here, I believe. Outlaw's kind of a fun little side, or not a side-scroller shooter, but it's one screen, and you could play a cowboy or outlaw, and you shoot the other outlaw. A little lame, but I like it, actually. It's a gem. Night Driver, a nice, not a racing game, just driving at night, seeing how long, in 90 seconds, how many points you can rack up in 90 seconds. So there's the Real Sports Volleyball, very nice. The Saboteur, I don't think that cartridge, I want to say, was never actually released for the 2600. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but I have heard that in the past, that this is not an actual 2600 game, or at least not an original 2600 game. Save Mary, very difficult. I tried it. It's one of the first I played on here. It sounded unique, and I never heard of it before. And It's a bitch. Let's see, Slot Machine as well. Kind of a little bit lame, but there you go. Space Invaders, an all-time classic. I like it on here. I think it's kind of a fun game. Maybe a little overrated. The Atari version's a little iffy, but nonetheless, still a good game. It's definitely worth having. Sprint Master I like. It's a lot like Indy 500, or if you ever played in the arcades that off-road game, Super Off-Road, where you control those monster trucks or 4x4s on that dirt road. But similar to that, only not quite as elaborate. Starship, no idea what that's about. Surround, kind of a fun game, sort of like on the Snake game, maybe on some of your mobile devices, where you pretty much have a snake and you try to control how it goes. Here's some more sports games. Super Football, Super Breakout, very fun on here. Submarine Commander, sort of very much like that Battle Zone game with the first-person view of the tank. Very similar to that, only now you're underwater with other subs. Steeplechase, sort of a fun horse racing game. I actually kind of like it. And just on the last page, Video Chess. You can play Atari chess. How about that? Pinball as well. Not the best Atari pinball game. That has to go to Midnight Magic, I think, is a phenomenal pinball game on the Atari. I love pinball games. I definitely love Atari, so that was a huge hit. But this one's still very fine. Warlords Wizard, I don't necessarily get. This is kind of a difficult game, I have to admit. I'm having a hard time playing with this game. And the very classic Yar's Revenge. Definitely a classic. So there's the 75 games available to us on the Flashback. Let's take a look. I did say I'd play the Aquaventure, so let's put in 2 of these games real quick. I'll be quiet just for a moment so you can hear those classic sound effects. So I'll hit select right here on my controller, and off we go. So as you can see, we can shoot some fish for some points, but the main goal is to get down a couple screens, and there'll be a treasure chest at the bottom of each stage, like this one right here, first stage, so it's right off the bat. Oh, I got hit from that blue fish. I have to start all over. Classic Atari 2600 sounds. Oh, that blue fish again. Alright, one last try here. I won't bother shooting too many. I at least just want to actually do the stage. I won't have my vengeance, though. Oh, crap. Anyway, that's the Aquaventure. I actually like this one. Again, this is one I never actually played. If you run into the side like I did there, those are spikes or something on the side, so they'll kill you off, but that's alright. Because we're going to play, let's see. I'll show you that Haunted House and Haunted House 2. This is one of my favorite games for the Atari. Basically, you're this pair of eyes, and you kind of have to go around this haunted house in search of 3 pieces of an urn. And you have to find those by turning on your flashlight and looking around the 4-story haunted house. And there'll be monsters like spiders and ghosts that you'll have to avoid. They'll blow out your light. Oh, right here, as you can see, we found the centerpiece of the urn. So we're on the 2nd floor. As you can see, a bath there. Like I said, who needs Resident Evil or Silent Hill? Whoa, this game. There's also sort of a magic, I'm not even sure what to call it, magic wand or magic staff that actually wards off the monsters. Now when you get hit like I did, I'm kind of glad they did show me. The number 8 is right here. You get 9 lives, so you essentially have 9 lives to try to complete the game. So you always have to kind of keep your flashlight on because you'll get those pieces. So we ran into the 2nd piece of the urn. I bet you anything the 3rd piece is up here on the 4th floor. Oh, ghost. Calling ghost hunters right here. I did not see the third piece we needed on the 4th floor. So let's take a look at the third. Oh, there's that magic staff. Now we can collect that to ward off the monsters and creatures that attack us, but we drop our urn. But we need the urn to complete the game. So it's the very first game here, so I'll just go without the magical wand. I don't think I looked over here originally. Not here. Oh, back up to 4th. You can also play with your friends, see how many times you have to use your flashlight. Oh, there's the last piece. Now when we have the last piece, we have to get back down exactly where we started, the entrance. And that's the 1st floor here. And how great is that? How great is that? So from the joystick, I'll just hit the reset button, and we're back here at the main menu. Now we won't play Haunted House 2, but I want to show you the difference here. In Haunted House 2, look at that. See, it's a lot more like Adventure for the Atari 2600, which is a great game itself. Don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm bashing Adventure. It's perfect. It's essentially Zelda for the 2600. Not quite, but oh geez, we got the ghost attacked right away. So I'm not actually dissing Haunted House 2, but it's more Adventure 3 or Adventure Dark Adventure or something versus the Haunted House. So in closing, final thoughts on the Atari Flashback 4. I think if you haven't picked any of these up yet, this is the current one. It has 75 games. I think you definitely should get it, especially if you're a fan of these old school games. I think the collection that's on here is an amazing collection. I understand in the past Atari Flashback they actually included games like Pitfall and River Raid, both of which made by Activision, and instantly both of which are not on here. So I think they took out a couple really, really great games, and they aren't included on this 4th one. But I don't know, we do have Space Invaders and Jungle Hunt and a couple of those Taito? I think that's what the game company is called, Taito Games. So that's kind of a decent switch. 75 games, some of which are really hard to find. If you were to pick up all 75 of these out in the wild or online, the original cartridges, which I always like having the physical game themselves versus sort of these digital versions, but it's a great collection. I think it's very worth it, especially if you're an old school fan. If this brings you back memories of your childhood, definitely worth the, right now it's $49.99. Might be able to get them online cheaper or some places cheaper. There's also a deluxe version of the Atari Flashback 4. It doesn't actually come with extra games, just some, like we said earlier in the video, some paddles and some extra posters. And I think actually a signed, some sort of signed sheet from Nolan Bushnell himself from Atari. So definitely that's pretty cool. But I wasn't able to find that one. So I think it's worth well worth every penny. I'm going to give it 4.5 stars out of 5. Not that it really matters much, but I think it's a great collection. I only took off half star because some of these, the controllers themselves, like I said, you really have to be sitting close by the system itself, pointed right at it. Kind of a pain, and also you can't actually play original 2600 games on the system. I know you can with the Atari or the Sega Games Sega Genesis version. You can play those old Sega Genesis games. If you want to see that in action, check out my YouTube homepage, because I do have that video. We've done that one as well. So that's it for now. Thank you everybody for watching Game Time. Subscribe and join in the conversation. What are some of your favorite Atari 2600 games? I'd really like to hear some games that you guys recommend. So until then, Kyle signing out. Take care, everybody. Stay classic.